when you type here in the note, you have to type E1, metric number not valid. Okay, so that is to show that there is an exceptional flow. This exceptional flow, we need to also draw the sequence diagram, but at the end of it. But for this question, you just put a note, right? Even for the verify course also, there is a E2 of course not available. Okay, there's a note about course not available. And we need to link it to the verify course. Okay. So any question? That's the answers for this. Let's save it. Okay. Any questions? Okay, if you forget some of the details, that means each details got some marks, right? For sequence diagram, usually all these messages got marks, right? So if you have left out one message, that means maybe 1 mark or half a mark will be deducted, right? So that's why you have to follow the question very well. On each of the sentence that are mentioned in the question, there are some information that you need to draw. But for your PBL, for example, I will check against what you have written in your use case pack. So if you have left out any messages that you have written in your use case pack, that means your sequence diagram is not complete. So remember about this, even in the exceptional flow, you have to draw exceptional flow down here, right? So you can frame the exceptional flow in a box. So you can put a box down like this, right? So this frame is all about exceptional flow. Okay, maybe later I will show you something that already been done from previous students on how they have drawn the exceptional flow and the right. Just moving around. Later I will show you. So if no question, let's go on to our communication diagram today, because these are the things that you need to draw for the PBL2. I will share the PowerPoint slide. Okay. So previous class we have discussed sequence diagram until steps of building sequence diagram, and then we went to the exercise. So now we are going to continue with communication diagram. Okay, for the communication diagram, it holds the same information as sequence diagram. It shows the links between objects that participate in the collaboration, right? So the sequence diagram and communication diagram both shows interaction, but the sequence diagram focuses on the time ordering, right, of the messages being passed. So because we draw the sequence diagram from top to down, so all the messages that are on top are done earlier than the messages on at the bottom. So it's time ordering. Whereas in communication diagram, we do not emphasize the flow of messages that are sent through a set of objects, but we draw it in a form of a network diagram. Okay, so we have the same elements as what we have in the sequence diagram. We still have the actor. So the same thing, actor is a person or system that derives benefit from and is external to the system. It participates in sequence by sending and receiving messages, right? So we still have actor. Then we have object. Object also same as in sequence diagram. We need to show in the form of object, not class. So we need to name it specifically. Then we have a line that we draw from one object to another object. This is the association. So it shows an association between actors, or between actors and objects, or between objects and objects, right? Messages are sent over association. So the message will be drawn on this line, right? There is a line connecting object to object. Messages would be drawn on top of it with a arrow, like this, right? So this is a message 1. So message conveys information from one object to another object. The direction is shown using an arrowhead, and sequence is shown by sequence number, right? So there is some information about the sequence because we number the message. So when we number the message, even in sequence diagram there are numbers, right? So the same numbers can be applied for the communication diagram. So we use numbers, so we can follow the sequence through the numbers. So we are going to look at this. This is this one we already done it for the sequence diagram. So this is the sequence diagram that we have drawn last class, and this is the communication diagram for the sequence diagram, this one, right? So you can see the communication diagram, they are actually representing the same information as the sequence diagram, right? Just that they are not ordered, right? They are not ordered. So for example, like this, we still have numbers that we can follow. For example, Joe will enter the PIN to the ATM screen. Then the ATM screen will, okay, the accept card is here. Accept card should be number 1. Enter PIN number 2, isn't it? Yes. Accept card, read card. Okay, so maybe this communication diagram is not that correct in terms of the message numbering, right? Read card. 4th is this one, send card. 5th is initialize screen. 6th is from PIN. 7 is enter PIN, right? 8 send PIN. 9 retrieve a PIN, and 10 is validate PIN. So this is the communication diagram. Okay. So later we are going to draw the communication diagram for the registration of the course just now that we have drawn in Star UML, just to show you how to convert our sequence diagram to communication diagram. So what's the difference between sequence diagram and communication diagram, right? So this slide shows you the summary of the differences. First one is sequence diagram is organized in chronological sequence, right, from top to bottom. So it emphasizes on the time ordering of the messages being passed. Whereas the communication diagram is not chronologically sequenced, right? Because of the diagram, you saw that it is more like a network type of diagram. It emphasizes the flow of messages through a set of objects, but it doesn't show the time ordering. The steps to build a communication diagram, these are the steps. First, you have to set the context, define which use case that you are going to draw a communication diagram for. Then you identify which objects or actors and the association between the objects that participate in the collaboration. Then you lay out the collaboration diagram by placing the objects and actors based on the association. Then you add messages to the association between the object, and then you validate the collaboration diagram. Okay, so these are the steps to build a communication diagram. Okay, this part is to draw the class diagram. So this one I will skip first. Let's do the communication diagram for our exercise. So let's go back to our UML, star UML, right? So our star UML got a sequence diagram. So we need to now convert this sequence diagram to a communication diagram, right? So to do that, I'm going to show you a way that you don't need to draw back each one again. You can just drag and drop from the sequence diagram to the communication diagram. So first of all, let's add another diagram. Go to the main. We add a communication diagram. Okay. Have to go to the model here so that we can add communication diagram. Okay. So now we are in the communication diagram screen. So we need to bring our objects, right? So you can see in the model explorer, you can see the sequence diagram here, right? So there are objects being created for the sequence diagram. What you do, you drag and drop, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Then this one you can arrange them according. Okay, this one is the actor, right? Joe, student, is the actor. We need to change the symbol to an actor symbol. Then we have a registration screen here. Then we have a registration controller. Okay. Then we have information. So let's place it like this so that the controller is in the middle and the screen is up here so that we can show the flow. Okay, so this one you can make it smaller a bit so that we have enough place for the flows or messages, right? So format word wrap so that we can make it smaller. This one are already small, so no need. Okay, now if you go back to your sequence diagram, all the objects are still there, right? So we just use it in the communication diagram. Now to change this to an actor symbol, and you go to the format, you go to the stereotype display, choose icon. Okay, so you have the icon with label. There's a small actor there. Can you see it? just make it bigger, right? So now you have an actor symbol in the communication diagram. So how about the messages? So you go back to the model explorer, you have sequence diagram, all the messages are there, right? So there are actually 19 messages. No, how many messages are there? 11 messages are there, right? So you have to drag and drop, right, for the communication diagram. So of course, if you are drawing it in a piece of paper, then you have to draw it again, right? But since we are using Star UML, and we can convert, right, from sequence diagram to communication diagram, such in this way. So here you have just to, you don't even need to place it in, you know that insert metric number is from the Joe to registration screen, right? Yeah, you can see the, right, the message are shown there. So if you put it there, it will go there. But even if you don't put it there, it will go to its place. For example, send metric number, you just place it there, so it will go to its own place. But you can't drag all. I don't know how to select all. You have to do it one by one. Verify metric number. Display successful. The courses. So I think we have, okay. All are going in there to its own places. What did we do just now? Check. Did we already take the count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, check already. So get courses. Verify courses. Display course registration successful. And save course. Okay, now you have already dragged all the messages. So now just you have to arrange them very well. Okay. So you can see that some of the messages are overlapping on each other. So just arrange them manually. So here we have two messages. One is for the safe course registration and get course information. Here we have a lot. So we have to arrange it according to the number. So you can put it here. 7. Okay, be careful when you put the, for example, like this, verify metric number, and verification is for the self message, and display course are all for the, so there are arrows you have to follow, right? So make sure you do it correctly, because verify metric number and verify courses is for the self message. That means it's for this arrow, right? Send metric number is for the arrows. Send metric number is for the arrows that goes from the screen to the controller. Okay. Whereas display, both the display are from the controller to the registration screen. Okay. So make sure the places that you put are correct. Send metric number is for this arrow. Display successful and display course registration is for that arrow. So that is the communication diagram for the exercise that we did for course registration. So any question? So if you look at your sequence diagram, all the messages are still there. We didn't take it out from the sequence diagram. We are just copying it, right? But be careful. If you delete anything from here, if you delete, let's say you say delete from model. For example, you delete Joe's information and you delete, you made mistake and you want to delete it. When you click delete from model, it will delete, and also in the sequence diagram it will delete also. Okay, so be careful when you delete. So you don't want to delete it, you undo, it will appear back. Okay, if no question, we are going to look at PBL2 materials. Because I think it's better for you to start doing PBL2. You don't waste time, because PBL2 got a lot of things to do. So I think you can delegate tasks among yourself to complete the sequence diagram and communication diagram, so that when you come back after the semester break, these diagrams would be ready and we can concentrate on the class diagram. So class diagram is a bit complicated in terms of how to draw it, and there are a lot of things that we need to talk about. So I'm sharing with you the online learning page where I have put the materials for PBL2. Okay, so we download all this document. We open it one by one to see what's in there. Okay, this is the student material for PBL2. There is an entry document. All right, we will look at the entry document later. So then there is an additional information for the format. This is in the appendix 2.2. I will open it later. So here I got some instruction for the students to do PBL2 for the grouping and member roles. So for the PBL1, you have allocated some roles for the group member, right? So for example, some of you have been chosen as the accuracy coach, the recorder, the reporter, and the leader, right? So you can rotate, right? Try to rotate the members' role so that not every PBL the same one is doing recording or same one is reporting. So you can change the role if you want, okay? But it's advised to change. Then this B2 is about deadline and deliverables for the sequence diagram, how long you need to take to draw it, right? So there are 2 weeks here. So meaning to say this week and the week that you have your break, right? 2 weeks. Then after that, when you come back, we will have that week for the class diagram, right? So All this will be presented together, and the report will be also together. Other thing in this file is about the learning resources and the rubrics, right? So we still have the 3 rubrics: report, presentation, and peer evaluation. I will share the forms later in the folder. Now let's go to the entry document and also the example. Okay, this is the entry document. Here is a memo for the project leader. Regarding the presentation last week, your team can proceed to the next stage by producing related UML, which include sequence diagram, communication diagrams, and class diagram. Okay, so there are 3 diagrams to be drawn. So as a guideline to the developer, all the diagrams must be transformed from the analysis phase to design phase by refining process. So this one, don't bother about it yet. I will explain to you later in the Star UML how to transform the analysis phase to a design phase, right? And this one will cover when you come back after the break, right? So we will cover how to transform the analysis phase sequence diagram to design phase. And also the due date, please submit the diagrams next 3 weeks. Okay. That is the entry document, and now we look at the example for the sequence diagram. Okay. So this sequence diagram that I showed you last class on the exercise that we did for the Joe to withdraw money, right? So there was some mistakes in this part, so I have corrected that, and I have drawn the correct ones, so you can refer to it here. So make sure that the screen or the interface do not access the information directly. You have to pass through the manager or the controller, right? So manager is the one who access the information. So you can see that like all the manager should be in the middle, and all the interfaces that the actor interact with should be on the left, and all the databases or information would be on the right. This is the sequence diagram, and this is the communication diagram for it. Okay. And this one is the class diagram, right? Class diagram for the above. So for your PBL, so you can see that here in the class diagram, right, you have the manager as the middle, like a middleman, right? It communicates with all the interfaces, the card reader, the ATM screen, the cash dispenser. These are all devices that interacts with the actor, right? So this one interact with the actor. Anything that happens between the actor to the screen, we do not need to show it, right? It's outside of the system. But in the system, these devices interact with the manager. They communicate with the manager, right? And the manager will control the information about the account. And you can see that the class do not have attributes for the interface objects and for the controller objects. It has attributes for the entity objects. So this one we will cover in our next class after the break. When we go to the class diagram, we will explain all these association, this one, 0 to 1, 1 to many, and all this will be covered later. For now, try to focus on your PBL2, go to your use case spec and try to draw a sequence diagram and communication diagram for each use case. So it's better to allocate one person to take one use cases or one or two use cases, and then draw both, right? Sequence and collaboration or communication, so that you can just convert it. By the way, using the same way that I show you just now. So you can start right away, so that on Thursday you can show me some of the diagrams that you have drawn. So at least complete one sequence and one. If you can complete more, it's better. I just want to see whether your sequence diagram correspond very well to your basic flow, exceptional flow, and alternative flow. Okay, any questions? While I search for the examples of PBL from previous classes. So just if you have any question, just type it in the chat. I will read it later. Okay, let me show you the example. I don't know whether this example is a good example or not. Okay. So this is for the PBL2 report, right? Sequence, communication, and class diagram for warranty and maintenance system. Okay. So there's a table of contents, so that I can refer to it if I want to go to a specific sequence diagram. So so they have here 1, 2, 3, 8, right? They have 8 use cases. So for each use case got its own sequence diagram and communication diagram. So let us look at the login use case. Okay, let me make it bigger a bit so that you can see. So login use case is in page 3. Okay, this is the login use case. Okay, can you see that the login is for customer and admin? Then there's a login panel. This is the screen. This is reset password panel, another screen for the reset password, and another screen for the registration. Then there is a manager. This is the controller. And there is an entity object for customer and admin information. Okay. So first, the customer or admin need to insert ID and password. So this is following the basic flow, right? You have to follow the basic flow. Then click confirm, right? So that is if you have an alternative flow like forget password or register as new member. So you have A2, A1, A2, and cancellation A3. So you can cancel anytime. So there are all alternative flow. So this is shown in a small box. If cancel during login, what happened? Cancel login, right? And then the one that is not in the box are the basic flow. The one which are in the box are either it is alternative flow or exceptional flow. Right? So you have to show it like this. So basic flow, check ID and password. So it sends directly from the login panel to the manager. So the manager will get the ID and password from the admin info and verify the ID and password. Okay. And then display successful is still in the basic flow. So the E1 is shown here, exceptional flow, where if ID and password is not valid, what happened? Prompt to reinsert ID and password. Okay, so the step will go back to the up once. This is what happens if forget password, right? There's a big box for forget password and a big box for register new user. So even in the register new user got exceptional flow, so you show it in a small box like that. Okay, so that is an example of how to draw a sequence diagram for just the login. And also the communication diagram for it, right? So it's displayed landscape. You can see this communication diagram. So all the same messages are shown here. So this goes on for the second use case, register furniture sequence diagram, and register furniture communication diagram. Okay, and goes on for the third use case, fourth use case, and so on. Once you have finished, the class diagram will take all the objects that you have in all your sequence diagram, and it will combine it into one class diagram, which looks like this. Because it combines all the class diagram, only one diagram you need to draw it. So because it takes all the objects, you have a lot of classes. Okay, your login manager, you have registration panel, furniture info. So all need to be drawn. So it's not easy because it have a lot of objects. So leave this class diagram for after break. For during this week and next week, try to finish the sequence and communication diagram. So like I said, try to delegate the job among your team members so that each one can do both sequence and communication. Okay, let me go to your chat to see whether you have any questions. Yes, one sequence diagram for one use case. That means one use case will have one sequence diagram and one communication diagram. Any more questions? Okay, for next class, Thursday, I want to check your sequence diagram. You have to show me the you choose even if you have done a lot, just choose one just to check the correctness. So during this week you come up with the sequence and communication. So if you have more than one, just choose one and show me the spec and the sequence diagram so that I can check whether it's correct or not, right? Whether it's correspond or not, or if you have any mistakes I can point it out so that you can correct them before you come back for a week after the semester break. Okay, so Thursday we will have class for you for sequence diagram and communication diagram checking. So it's better to look at other groups' work too, so that I don't have to repeat the same information. If I go one group by group, then sometimes the same mistakes are there. So if I have already explained it, you already know what's wrong, right? So come and look at other groups' work as well. Okay, I think that's all for today. If you don't have any questions or anything to ask, anything, you can leave the meeting. And don't forget to tell me if you didn't scan the attendance. Maybe I can share the attendance again. Okay, so if nothing else, I will see you on Thursday. Right? Assalamualaikum.